Hi everyone, my name is Afam O. I'm here today to show them how one can start up an Nginx server using Docker container and Visual Studio IDE or VS Code IDE. So first of all, let's start up our Docker desktop or our Docker engine or Docker daemon as case may be. So our Docker is up. As you can see, these are some of the contents that I've already worked on before. So this here is an image. These are list of images I have. Some images I have since I will be working with before. Then quick one, we can start. Go to a notepad. We can register or do our local host setup. Let's set up our domain using our local DNS system to set up a domain called isms.com. So I will right click on my notepad and run as administrator on Windows. I click yes. So I will open. I will go to file and open here because I've opened before. I can easily access the part, but this is the part that see Windows 633 drivers etc. So I can filter here. I can hear because we want to see the components for the files that are inside this folder. I select all files, filter by all files, right? So then I will select the first configuration file called host. Mark the first one, not the second one. I open. So here I've opened this. So you can see. I can see how though I've set it here before, but here this is the idea. If I like, I can do it again. I can set another domain. I can remove this one and set it again. I 127 is my local IP mapped to my local host 127.0.0.1 isms.com. Since I already set it, if I like, I can click do Control S and then close. Fine. So the next, let me open VS Code. Look, as you can see here, VS Studio Code. So here, this is a Git. This is a Git repo as I created it in Git hub and cloned it using Git clone. We have already done this before, demonstrating how this process can be done. Then, as you can see, it's empty. Nothing is inside. As you can see, you can also do Git. You check the Git status. You can use command Git status to ensure that it's okay. Fine. Is is everything is intact. You can use that to check what's inside. There's basically it's only readme file that is there, right? So now the first step I want to quickly start up an Nginx. Remember the aim of this is to use Docker to start up an Nginx web server using Docker with the aid of VS Code to quickly configure and start up an Nginx web server. So first, let's quickly start up a one that doesn't have much configuration. How do we do that? We go to create a new file called under this project folder called ISMS121 project. I create a new file called Docker file. Okay. Docker file. Docker file is usually that's usually one where one declares a Docker right setup and set of instruction that work you can use to build a Docker image. This is where you build Docker image from. So the first is usually the image name, where the image is coming from. I will do from I will say from Nginx. The image name is I'm going to use is called an Nginx. And they say I should use the latest. I don't want to use any particular version. I want to use the latest Nginx available on Docker Hub. Okay, I've saved my I've saved my Docker image. So the next I will build it. This normal way you build a program image or you compile, build or compile. But the technical in Docker term is called build. So I say Docker build. I will use command Docker build. I'll give it the image a name. Call tag it. I will give the name. ISMS Nginx. I'll put period. This period shows that they should look for Docker should look for a Docker file within this folder name. Within the folder where I am. This folder ISMS want to import. I'll hit enter. Fine. It has successfully built. So now it's to clear our screen. I can press CLS. Okay, fine. So now let's start up the container using based on the image you have built. Usually, one start up a Docker container that is based on an image, a Docker image that is already available, that has been downloaded or that has been built afresh from beginning. So I say Docker to start up the container. I said Docker run, right? I will specify the port 8080. This port means that the port of OS should be mapped to the port 80 should be mapped to the internal Docker ports of 80 as well. Because by default, the port for Nginx and most web servers is usually 80. That's why I'm using 80. Of course, there's no, it's not, it's one can change it to another port one, but the convention is to use 80, 8, port 80. Web servers usually use port 80. Then I will specify I will give the container a name ISMS Nginx Nginx city. Then I will do ISMS. I will now give write the image name. That image, remember I tagged the image when I built the image ISMS Nginx. I hit enter. I've already created a container name called this name. If you are doing this like for a second time or doing it so repeatedly, most likely you get this error. But if you are doing it for the first time, you won't get this error because that was the first time I created it. So because I've already created the container name this, I can either change name or uh, I will remove the initial the initial one I've created. I prefer to remove the initial one so that we can learn a new command. Docker remove ISMS Nginx. See it. I'll prefer to remove it. Of course, I can easily change the name and everything will work fine. I can remove ISMS Nginx city. So it is successfully removed. So I will type this command again. Docker run. I repeat the last two commands. Docker run. I'll specify the ports again 80, 80. I'll remember to give the name again. Repeat the name again. Name ISMS Nginx. This is the name of the container. Then ISMS Nginx. This is the name of the image which I just built few moments ago. Now I hit enter. Fine. So our Nginx Docker container is up. So how do we know that it's up? We go to the browsers, access it. The same way you access a domain name. Remember, I've already configured the domain we called ISMS. So I come here. I type ISMS. Remember, we have already configured our local domain name using our local domain name using local DNS called isms.com. So here I hit enter. Wow, see, we just launched and started up an Nginx web server. As you can see, this shows that this was successfully started up. If you see this page, the Nginx web server is successfully installed and working. Further configuration is required. For online, they go say here we can read up more online and all that. But like I said, this is just the first basics. So let's see if we can do some configurations. How do we do that? Let's go back again to Visual Studio. So I'm going to create a folder called under the same ISMS 1.1. I'm going to create a folder called conf.d. Right, good. So here again, I create another folder called I create another folder called HTML. This HTML contain basically my HTML websites. Remember, I want to start up a static website for now. The one can also use reverse policy, but that's not where we're going to do that one today. Maybe next time we see how you can use NGS as a reverse policy. But for now, basically starting websites. So I create a new folder called HTML. TML. I hit enter. Fine. Inside this conf folder, I create another file called isms.conf. isms.conf. This is isms.conf. We are contain configuration from our domain called isms. It will contain NGX configuration. Usually the root file for NGX. There are many ways to go about it, but one of the fastest way usually to start with a block called server, right? So I put in the I will put um yes, I put a start with open and closing brace. So I'll tell the server to listen to what listen on port what 80. If I don't set it will if I don't set to 80, it will be set automatic by default. By default it's 80. I'll tell it to first to listen on port 80. Then I'll give the server name. I remember we created a domain called ISMS, local domain called isms.com. So I call it isms.com. Remember, it's always good to you must always terminate with semicolon. Then I will include a location block. This document where we have a part called slash, and it also has its own. It also have I said its own curly braces as well. So in this, I say that I will specify the roots. Roots means where anytime somebody wants to is accessing the host, roots means the root directly. So roots, the root should be www slash html. Fine. Then I will give it a I will specify an index. Index should be an index page. Index page means once somebody open the website, the first page automatically that will be served. So index, the first or default page I will say index.html. I can also say index.htm. Again, I will terminate with semicolon. Here, this is my basic start. I've just set up written a configuration for basic to let Nginx to serve a basic static webs static web pages. So fine. So now next, what we do is that I will come here and update our Docker file because as it is here, this is not complete. I see some extra instruction we need to give extra configuration. So to do that, I will create a I will copy everything inside the conf. I say there is a copy. I copy. I tell you to copy everything inside this conf that's going to what to the default folder for Nginx on most systems. Usually it starts with etc, then Nginx, then conf dot d, then this. So I've given you authority to that means copy everything inside here. That is everything inside this, include the ISMS to go to the host to the system, to the host system, to the Docker system, which Docker is usually a small Linux, miniaturized a Linux system. Locate a part, look for this part and copy everything inside into this part. This is usually the default folder where NGS configuration are found on most systems. So I will now make a directory. I say run. I will run. I say make a directory. I will run a command. Then make directory called ww, right? Then I will tell you to run. I will tell you to make another directory called run. Make directory that is inside this ww. I will make another directory called html, right? Now, so I will copy everything inside my html to that directory. How I will say copy html, everything inside my html. I will now move it to this new directory is I've created. HTML, right? Copy everything inside my current HTML to the newly created directly, starting with started with the roots www and then the ending with HTML. Remember, why do you do this? Because in ISMS.conf, we have already configured that the roots should be www.html, right? That's why we are giving Docker that command to create those directly. Then copy what is inside here, right? Inside this HTML of this our host OS to that internal to the container to the new directly part that's internal to the container. Fine. So now the next is let's save and again build our so before that I think we are missing something. Let's create a file called let's create a static file here. A static HTML file. Remember with in the configuration we said that the entrance file or the default web page should be index.html. So let's create it here by going here and then new, right? Say in okay index.html. Fine. So we are created here. You can enter a basic normal Doctor HTML and others. I already have some HTML code snippets. So I can easily copy it. Of course, we can type our own anyway. We can easily enter other HTML command. Good. You can even update it here. A nice website. Whatever you can configure, you can update the HTML and whatever. Fine. So let's stop at let's stop our initial container by this by you can source an initial if you like you can do use Control C to start it to stop it. You can stop it. So you can let's build our this thing again. Our also remember to remove because the Docker will complain that the container name already exists. So you can remove the container call. You can remember the command Docker remove ISM at NGS. So you can remove it so that it doesn't conflict with the new one you're building. Or otherwise, alternatively, we can rename it. You can come here and rename it so if you want to keep the old one. Okay, Docker remove ISMS NGX. So now, so let's rebuild our image. Docker build, right? Again, tag ISMS Nginx. Again, this means the current directory, the current folder. Fine. So it seems as everything went well. But if there was an error inside here in this Docker file, to have the build process would have it will have alerted us. So once again, now let's now build our Docker. Let's now build our let's say again Docker run, setting up our ports again. Just remember we had already specified ports here to be 80. So that's this confirm more another reason why we're using port 80 here. Then I'll give you a container and then once again you can give it if you want to keep the previous container you can give it another name. But here I'll prefer to use the same name. ISMS Nginx city, then ISMS, Nginx. So this is our, this, remember this is still our image name. This is the container name. Once again, you can change this to whatever you like. Especially if you want to keep the previous container. Again, I'll tell it to run. Fine, it has started. So we go once again, we go back to our browser and refresh our browser. It's good. So you see that our NGS configuration is now very, very interactive, much more interactive. But can we spice up? Can we make this a more interesting? Can we make it more fun? Can we make it more, because usually this is a static web page. It looks boring, right? So how can we spice it up, make it more attractive, and put probably some CSS? Of course, this is where your web design skills now come in. This is where, so I have a, luckily I have a, in my folder, in my system, I have some basic some static HTML page, which you can use it to update to make it ours more interesting. Yes, I have a static HTML page. Is something. I can type my HTML here. Okay, fine. I have static HTML pages here. Good. So fine. So this is my static HTML. So or rather, okay, fine. I can look for, alternatively, I can look for some previous HTML pages I can use. Okay, so let me copy everything inside here, right? Good. I put here and I'll go to where this is located in my system. I can navigate to, if I go come here, I can come here and navigate to where this folder is located. You can go to open, yes, there's a way you can open it in there. As you can see, it's located as upon ISMS project inside my home and okay, fine. So I will come here and this is it. This is ISM. Like, as you can see, this is the project we're dealing with when you open it in your file system. When you come here, so I can update my all the contents as you just replace the file in the destination. Alright, so when you make sure that the index.html is this. Because remember in your ISM, remember in your configuration file, you have already set it up. The configuration file, you have said that the web page should we should serve static content, right? It should serve, the default web page when somebody launches a website is should be index.html. That's why there must be an index.html here, right? Fine. As you can see see the contents of, see that our pages are now more this more like normal websites, more interesting, right? So this is basically how a static website should be. So but how do we let NGS know that once again we update our Docker, we rebuild our Docker image so that these new changes will be reflected. The key thing is that whatever the website, the web pages are included, everything must be inside this HTML folder. It's very, very important. Why? Because here we have already specified, we have already here in Docker file, we have already told Docker to copy everything that's inside here to this folder or this part inside and everything is inside here in our system to this parts or this OS parts or this Docker parts called www.html. That's why everything was included in this HTML folder. Now, so let's rebuild once again. Rebuild our images. Once again, let's start. Let's stop our container. Fine. Let's start our container. So I will do. You can stop the container by doing Control C to stop. There's also another way you can run it in the background. So we are going to rebuild our image again. We're going to be docker build my stack isms nginx. Fine, we are rebuilt it. So then we are this time around, I'm going to practice using another. I'm going to leave the last one. I'm going to practice using a new container name. Docker, yes. Let's call this one maybe CTR to change it so that we don't have to we don't have to so that Docker demo the country doesn't remind us that this the name of this container already exists. If I run Okay, fine. There is another. It's important. No, it's good. It's let's maintain the initial name because remember this port is already the other one is always using it so that we don't have to start. We don't counter a problem with this port is already in use. Let's maintain this. But before we can do this, once again we will try to complain. So once again we do docker remove. Why we are maintaining we do this name because we want to use the same port. We don't want to have a situation where port 8 will be conflicting with the only existing container running Nginx. So we say once again say docker remove isms Nginx city. Why are we forcing ourselves to remove? Because once again we don't want to have a conflict with the ports. We want to maintain this port 80. Of course, we can change it, but that will be an additional work. We can change it by going to isms.config and start changing the port, but that was not our aim now. We want to make this demo as short as possible. Fine, I've removed it. So once again, I will run docker run this the same command docker run port the name of the name of container and then the name of the image. We repeat. Fine, it has started. So let's see if our let's refresh our web page to see if we can get something more interesting. Very good. So you see that our website is now more interactive. All these things are coming from Nginx. So this is how one can use Docker container to start up or quickly set up an Nginx and configure it with the aid of Visual Studio. So of course we can go on and it's not common that we use just VS Code. You can use any other IDE, but VS Code is also popular. So now let me close this. We can do Git status. You can use Git status to update. You can use Git add. Good. So that we've added this so that we want to commit. You can say Git commit. Just commit my Nginx web server configuration. Good. So remember, if we want, we can push this into our local. So let's see our everything is instant. So we can do gstatus once again. So everything has been committed properly. So now let's see if we can push to our to remote repo. Git push. Good. Everything is perfect. So we can go to the you can confirm this. We can go to the your Git our GitHub. Go to your browser and open GitHub to confirm that our changes are there. GitHub. Oh, good. I can search for that. This project. Look at see this project ISMS 121 project. Let's see if our changes have see that our changes have been reflected. You can see our Docker file here. Git. Can see everything is complete. Everything has been synced with our remove Git repo. You can see our conf.d. You see our isms.conf. See that everything is correct. Thank you very much. And that was just a short demo on how to start up an Nginx web server using Docker container with AWS code, and then eventually we pushed it to our remote Git repo hosted on github.com. Thank you, and thanks for listening. Small.